Welcome back guys to another video on the Coder's Code. So in today's video we're going to be doing the winter scrolling platformer on Scratch. This is part 1 by the way. I hope you guys have seen the speedrun and the link to playing the game is in the description below, so check it out. And also I've also made a separate Scratch project for the sprites asset, so you can check that out as well. I haven't put it in a Google Drive because sometimes there can be problems in that. And it's pretty easy to just put the sprite from the project to the backpack, and then I'll show you how to do that in this video itself. So let's get on to it. But before that, I need to show you guys the concepts that we will be learning throughout the whole series. We'll be learning about custom blocks, wall jumping, clones, collision with platforms and sprites, and traps, Basically, it'll check whether the sprite is colliding with the boxes and the platforms and the sprites. The traps, the scrolling physics, X and Y scrolling, and friction. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so if you guys found my videos useful. Anyways, let's get on to the code and making the variables. Alright, so this is the winter scrolling platformer shared project. I've also added it to the studio, so check it out. I've uploaded all of our projects that we're making in the studio, even the sprites assets. So I'll show you guys how you can drag the sprite assets, but let me first make a project. So create a new project and name this project whatever you want. I'm gonna name it Winter Scrolling Platformer. Remember, you can always use different sprites, and you can also make it another theme, not winter like anything else, but since it's the winter season, I thought we could make a winter scrolling platformer. So this is a sprite asset project. So this is blank any feature, by the way. And alright, so this is what you can do. You can either remix the project and start creating this in this project itself, or you can click on the backpack and drag the player into this. So I've already dragged it twice. Now go to the project in which you'll be creating it on. Click on the backpack tool and just drag it like this. Delete the cat sprite, by the way. And now hover on choose a sprite and click on paint. Don't paint anything in it. And you can just name this blank. This is blank and use Scratch feature. Basically, it prevents the project from being so laggy. So I think it's a pretty cool feature. I'm gonna show the player, by the way. And now click on choose a backdrop and type in winter and click on winter backdrop. Now go to the backdrops tab and delete both the Christmas trees. All right, now let's create some variables. All right, so delete the my variable and click on variable, make a variable, and let's make one called scroll X. But before that, let me tell you guys that make all of the for all sprites variables in caps, and for this sprite only in like small letters. By the way, Griffpatch also did this in his video, and I totally agree with what he's done, because it's gonna be easy to distinguish between for all sprite variables and for the sprite only variables. So scroll X is gonna control the scroll X physics, scrolling physics for the X one, and scroll Y also does the same except the scrolling physics for the Y. Now click on make a variable and make a variable called X for the sprite only, because this controls the X position of the sprite only, and Y for the sprite only, it controls the Y position of the sprite. Make a variable called exit to check whether the player has exited the portal, and whether whether the players won the game or whether the player's dead for all sprites. Now make a variable called in air for this sprite only, because you want to check whether the sprite is in the air. Now make a variable called collected to check the number of collectibles the player has collected for all sprites. Collected max, the maximum number of collectibles in each level. which brings me to making a variable called level for all sprites. Yeah, one more called timer. Oh, and that's not it, something very important. SX, speedX, controls the speedX for this sprite only. That's why we have to make it for the sprite only, because we only want to know the speed of this sprite. And SY, speed Y, for the sprite only again. Alright, one more thing, if by mistake you forget to put like XY, SXY, SX, SY, or in air for all sprites, for the sprite only, if you forget to do that and you put it for all sprites, then you don't have to delete it and make a new one. If you download or install Scratch add-ons and turn on that feature, you can just right click and click on convert for all sprites or convert for the sprite only. So that is really useful. And for that you need to download Scratch add-ons. Alright, so now make a new block called game on. Game on. And okay, that's all. And now we have to drag in set X to 0 and set Y to 0. So like this, basically. So set Y to 0, set X to 0. Now set X, SX, and set SY to 0. Now drag in a set. We want to set the in air to 0 and exit to blank, because exit can either be dead, win, or blank. Also remember to set the scroll Y and scroll X to 0, just like this. And there you go. Now remember to drag in a set size to 50, because if you put 100, it's going to be too big. Let me show you. That's a bit too big, so set it to 50. And also by simply dragging the sprite from the back from the other project, it's going to be already set to 50. Alright, and now we want to show this sprite. Also remember to set the ghost effect to 0, because once the player goes into the portal, it will be like it'll set the ghost effect to 100 or something, not 100, like it will set the ghost effect to like 70s, 60s, of that. So we want to set the ghost effect to 0 at the start. Now drag in a when green flag clicked, we want to set the level to 1. So set level to 1. Alright, now we have to drag in a show variable level, because we want to show the variable level. Now we want to set the timer to 0, of course. And now we want to broadcast in wait, so drag 2 of those. So we want to broadcast our message called green flag. Now you must be like, why are we broadcasting a message called green flag when you already have a when green flag clicked? Well, that's because the green flag, by broadcasting a green flag message, you can gain more control. So that's why we're making our own green flag, to gain more control. Now drag in a one called play game. And when I receive green flag, we want to hide, and we want to go to front layer. Alright, now you must be like, why are we not setting game on to anything? That's because game on will only start after the player chooses whether they want the pink or red or green or blue sprite. So that's only when the game on will be declared. And we'll be talking more about this in the next part. Until then, please stay tuned for the next part and subscribe to the channel if you want to get a notification when this video is uploaded. But until then, keep scratching and you can also explore. But before we end, I want to show you guys the costumes. So there are 6 costumes. There are 2 costumes for the pink one or the red one. So that's because we have a flattened one and a normal one. So when the player clicks on the down arrow key, we'll have this flattened one. And we have the normal one. Oops, I set it to a really high value. Okay, so yeah. And then we also have the green one and the blue one. So the green has also the flattened and the blue also had the flattened one. And that's all I wanted to talk about. And I'll show you how to draw the sprite in the next episode, in the next part. And I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, keep scratching.